So guys, I know that you love podcasts. You're listening to one right now. But there's another one that I want you to check out, and it has really caught my attention. It's called Joculation. That's Joculation for those that are looking to type it out. So what this is, it features original comedy based off current events from some of the weird news sections like Toronto Sun, Daily Star, the LAD Bible, etc. This show has over 100 episodes, and it really is a must listen. And in their latest episode, they were talking about a woman who was threatening to burn down a pub at a Christmas event with Santa and his reindeer. She was an animal rights activist. You really gotta check this out. Again, guys, it is hosted by LP Faust. It's called Joculation. And what I want to do is give you a quick 30-second sample of this show, and I'd really encourage you go and check it out. You can find them, by the way, everywhere podcasts are available, all the major platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Overcast, Downcast, etc. So check it out. I'm also putting a link to the show in the description of this episode. So take a listen to this, guys. It's called Joculation. Go check it out, and here it is.
So apparently Martha Stewart, she now has come into a new television show because Martha needs money. At one point, Martha's walking around with a ruler measuring like forks and knives, the distance from like spoons and cups and soup bowls and all that stuff. I'd rather it be a tablescape, ladders, and chairs match. That's what I'm thinking, bro. Have somebody come into the ring with a foreign object, maybe take the steel chair and slap it across Martha Stewart's face. That would be excellent, okay? Tablescapes, ladders, and chairs match. Oh, my.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my idol. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hello, WWE Podcast World. This is DJ Kuzmo back at it again on your Mailbag show, recorded to you live once again on a Wednesday morning, on a cold Wednesday morning. And before we get to the Veer Mahan Report, I gotta talk about Monday Night Raw, a little bit of AEW Dynamite, and of course, the Veer Mahan Report. But before we get to the Veer Mahan Report, I want to talk about Monday Night Raw. Now, I don't know what's going on with Elias. He came back as his old self again, making the tunes, playing the guitar. He was in some sort of a tag team with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle now is killed off of television, no pun intended. But we get to see another Elias sing-along. Like, what is going on here? First of all, he came as Ezekiel. Then he got killed off, new storyline, and then he came back as Elias, back to being the same person that he was before he became Ezekiel. What the hell, WWE? What the hell is, we're not getting any type of change with his character. It's like a regression. And of course, we have none other than Elias, playing a song from Matt Riddle. Oh my boy, I miss you so much. What is this, some sort of love song that you're making? Oh my God, I miss him so much. Oh, I love you. I love you, Matt Riddle. Cut the crap. Cut the damn crap, Elias. I want to see some change in this character. I'm sick of this goddamn sing-along crap. But enough said on that. I know I could go on a more further rant on Elias or Ezekiel or whatever the hell they want to call him nowadays. But I want to get to what happened last week on AEW Dynamite. Now, folks, this was the first time that I got to see MJF, Maxwell, Jacob Freeman scared in his boots by somebody that could talk the talk with Maxwell Jacob Freeman, and I'm talking about none other than Ricky Starks. Absolute Ricky Starks. He won the tournament, and now he's in a match this coming Wednesday night on AEW Dynamite at Winter's Coming. But before we get there, what an absolute promo. What an absolute toe-to-toe promo with none other than MJF, Ricky Starks, just spitting some absolute facts on MJF, ripping him, and the crowd was behind Ricky all the way. They were saying maxi pad, maxi pad, maxi pad, and all that good stuff that Ricky Starks had in his arsenal, because this guy is a great talker. Ever since I saw him come to AEW 2 years ago, I knew that this guy was going to be something special. He kind of reminds me of The Rock, but man, oh man, Ricky Starks owned that night. He owned MJF in that back-to-back promo, and I love it. I know that most likely MJF is going to retain the title, but just to see Ricky Starks get that main event push to be on the same sphere, the same atmosphere with none other than Maxwell Jacob Freeman was a joy to see, and I hope to see more of a progression in his push to main event, none other than absolute Ricky Starks. Now, I know I'm behind my time. I know I'm past my time. I know it's my 3 minutes. But now, let's get to your favorite show to come on every single week on the Mailbag. And I'm talking about the Veer Mahan Report. Now, before we get to the Veer Mahan Report, the Veer Mahan Report has been brought to you by Usiful. That's right, folks. I just created a fictional product called Usiful. It's for the fellas. It's for the brothers. It's for the guys out there. Because, fellas, it's the holiday season. If you are single, if you are in a relationship, and you are going to your holiday party, you want to look good, you want to dress the part, but you want a bottle of the best cologne, sponsored by Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I'm talking about Oozful. That's Uceful. And I'm talking about Oozful. You want to spray a can of that good stuff on you, and you, my friend, will feel so oozy that all the ladies, for all the single brothers out there, all the ladies will look at you like, man, there goes that man over there. Wow, I wonder what he's wearing. I wonder how he's smelling. He's getting a bottle of Oozful. Now, guys, you don't want to be smelling funky. You want to be looking the part. You want to be smelling the part, because the ladies love a guy that smells good as well, as much as he looks good. But other than that, let's get to the Veer Mahan Report. Now, the Veer Mahan Report took place last night on NXT. And we did get to see the appearance of the Indus share of my guy, Veer Mahan, and not Sangha. I actually pronounced it wrong for the past couple of weeks. It's Sangha. It's Sangha. So it's Veer Mahan and Sangha came about during the match with Brutus Creed and J.D. Madanahi. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, J.D. Madanahi had a match with Brutus's brother Julius. Now JD has a match with none other than Brutus. And of course, as when JD was about to go underneath the ring and get that steel chair, guess who came and stopped him? None other than Sangha. Sangha came and prevented JD Madanahi from hitting Brutus Creed with the steel chair. And off we're going. We are getting to that point, folks. We are getting to that point where we're going to get to see the match with the Indus share and the Creed brothers. But before I go, I did do a little bit of research, and I realized that none other than my boy Veer Mahan is actually injured. He has a minor injury. So this is part of the prolonging of the storyline that we're getting with the Creed brothers and the Indus share, because my guy Veer Mahan is somewhat injured, but that's okay, because when the point comes that we get to the blowover of this feud, of this match that we're going to get to, the Veer Mahan and Sangha of the Indus share versus the Creed brothers. I can't wait to see what happens next week as this storyline progresses. And like I said, be blessed, everybody. Be kind to one another, and peace.
All right, DJ. So thanks for the call. And yes, I do sound even more echoey. I've now downgraded even further to my headphones. I'm not even at home doing this anymore. I'm in an undisclosed location. I will not disclose it because I probably shouldn't. But that is why it sounds even worse. But I promise I'll be back in my normal studio in the coming days. So, DJ, let's go through a couple of your points here. First of all, the Indus share versus the Creed brothers. I appreciate the updates. I'm sure our audience does as well, because, again, one of those tag teams I think that's going to come out of nowhere and end up being a massive force, a formidable force. on the main roster at some point in the next probably 6 to 12 months. I really think that. Probably after WrestleMania, of course, when things get reset. Also, let's see here. You mentioned Ricky Starks and MJF. Absolutely. MJF, as you all know, is easily my favorite in AEW and really all of pro wrestling when it comes to mic work. And Ricky Starks held his own. Probably the best we've seen anyone hold their own. Now, does MJF still edge him out? Yes, I think MJF is still better, but that's the best we've seen anyone, including CM Punk, counter MJF. And the dollar store Dwayne comment was pretty funny. He does remind us of The Rock. Of course, MJF is he's very aware of what the criticisms are publicly of people, and he just grabs onto it and annihilates his opponents. And your last thing here about Elias. Yeah, he's back to the same person. And, that's just kind of how we're going to have to live for a while, because I don't think WWE knows what the hell to do with him. Remember he threw his guitar in the fire and there was that symbolic change of his character, but yet he just disappeared for 6 to 12 months or whatever it was. And there were ideas of him coming back, some kind of Ultimate Warrior type, but Vince didn't like it. And then it was eventually Ezekiel when he did come back, and now it's back to Elias. They literally have no idea what to do, so they just stick him back in his comfort zone in his mildly successful Elias character. That's it. So, all right. Well, let's get on to the next voicemail.
It's Kyle from Baltimore. So I wanted to talk about the what happened on Raw in this past week and what's going to come up on Raw next week. I made this call. When you received this call, something already would have happened on Raw between Bayley and Alexa. So I'm guessing Alexa's going to win. And because of Becky's involvement after Bayley got involved in Becky's match this past Monday, and so those are going to lead on to their feud even more. But I just want to get into the fact that Becky Lynch is super popular right now over Bianca Belair, and that isn't a good thing. It's been now in almost an entire year and all this stuff with Bianca Belair as champion at this point since WrestleMania, and she's been a very disappointing champion because she has great matches. I enjoy her matches and all, but her promos and her feuding with Damage Control and Bayley hasn't been all that great, and she hasn't done anything to interest me as champion than Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch hasn't even been on TV for this entire year before she came back. It was more interesting. So I guess my thing is that if Becky does win the Rumble and faces Ronda Rousey, could that make Bianca Belair more interesting if Becky's on SmackDown, not on Raw? Is it a bad thing that both women are the same brand because Becky's more popular than Bianca Belair? What do you think about that dynamic, and where do you think Bianca is going to go headed into next year? Her losing to Rhea, but then what? I guess that'll be what that is. So do you think that Becky should go over to SmackDown in order to keep Bianca Belair as the clear baby face over Becky, or they think about that? But that's the day for call. Bye.
Hey, Kyle. Yeah, good question. As we start to hone in on the women's division side of things, it's going to get very interesting very quickly, because I think the Rumble is going to have a big impact on the division heading into WrestleMania and beyond, because I think we're going to see the return of Charlotte Flair, if not at the Rumble, shortly thereafter for WrestleMania season. And I think that she will go to Raw. And then I think Becky is going to challenge Ronda and essentially, quote unquote, move to SmackDown. So with that, you have Bianca versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, possibly, or you have Rhea, Charlotte, and Bianca in a triple threat. I think that's also the most likely, with Rhea Ripley winning the championship at WrestleMania. I think Rhea deserves it. I think she would be an amazing heel champion. She's doing career work right now. She is the straw that stirs the drink of the Judgment Day, and she's just perfect. So I think that's what's going to happen. It's probably going to be a triple threat with Charlotte and Rhea and Bianca, with Bianca dropping into Rhea at WrestleMania. Now, as far as the SmackDown side of things, of course, I mean, if they don't do Ronda Becky, I mean, I'm done. Like, I don't know what bigger match they could have. I don't want a third person. If they put a third person in there, I'm going to personally start a petition to just like, I don't know, riot WWE, or rather just petition people to not attend live events, hit them where it hurts is my point. So I think we have an interesting women's division coming up for WrestleMania. Thanks, Kyle. Let's get to the next one.
Hello, everybody. Alex, the French guy here, your European champion. I wanted to react to what I said 2 weeks ago about seeing MJF on the Tough Enough Apply, and you, Matt, reacting, seeing that you applied too. It's crazy because, like, this is why also I love wrestling and WWE in general. Like, you could be in the east of France, a little city that no one knows, and another guy across the world applying and doing the same thing. I don't know, like almost in the same time, and like two different people in a whole different place doing the same time by the same passion. That's crazy in a way. So this is real nice. And talking about MJF, I wanted to talk about his wrestling psychology, because I have the feeling now that most people are not like with face or with heel anymore. The stable bloodline being really like a proof of that, because all right, they are heel characters, but they get cheered almost every time they encourage Sami Zayn, and that's not what a heel is supposed to be. And what I mean by that is I don't believe that there's strict face and strict heel anymore. I believe they're authentic and not. And I think the more authentic you got in the wrestling ring, in a promo or in your storyline, the more cheer you get, and even though you get some heelish things to do, I think that this line getting even the more we go into time, the more the line gets blurred between face and heel, and what a face can do to get what he wants. And even though he gets some heelish means, like, people will still cheer the guy if the guy is cool, quote, or something else, With this, I just wanted to talk about this, also about MJF being a heel, but can be cheered at any point of his promo, at any time. If the guy decides, all right, today I want to get cheered, he knows how to do it. And that is also crazy about him. I can't wait to see what they got for him in the next month in AEW, because of course maybe you go to WWE, but that could be, I don't know, interesting, but also not at the same time, because he's not having the same creative freedom, I believe, in WWE as.
Well, Alex, you are a victim of the 3-minute timer. So, all right. Well, you brought up some great stuff. And this is something I could create many, many episodes on, and I won't, because I feel like I'll just be mentally exhausted and going in circles. But let me briefly give my thoughts on what you said. So first of all, the toughen up thing. Yeah, I applied. Now, I'm not exactly the tallest, the strongest, the best looking. I would not have made it, most likely. Okay, especially I'm not exactly a tall guy. All right. But I still applied just for the hell of it and seeing, if anything came of it. But you're right. I mean, wrestling connects us all. If you find a fellow wrestling fan, it's like you have an instant connection with them. It's like finding a hidden treasure or something, because it's not like finding an NFL fan or a Major League Baseball fan or any other sport. Wrestling is unique in that it still has a bit of stigma around it that, wrestling fans are stupid. They think wrestling is real. It's fake. Like, of course that died a long time ago, but those that are fans continue to hang on to it. So finding a wrestling fan is kind of like finding a hidden treasure. It is cool. Now, your point here, let me get to MJF and then I'll get to my larger point. MJF is so talented that he could flip if he wanted to from babyface to heel. He started to get cheered in Chicago, largely because CM Punk was a total D-bag, and the fans have turned on him even in his hometown, and rightfully so. But MJF is so talented and has such a high level of a superpower that he could flip instantly, and the fans respect how good he is on the microphone. If MJF wanted to be a babyface, he could. But right now, he's using his superpowers for evil, and that's fine. And I think that when MJF comes to WWE, he will probably be a babyface. If he comes to WWE next year in January, 2024, that he probably will get immediately a massive reaction, and maybe he'll quickly turn heel. But I can't wait. WWE needs this man, and it's going to be a massive get for WWE. All right, now my bigger point. So the Bloodline are not true heels, and there's no true heel face dynamic anymore. So here's the thing. That's true, but only because WWE a long time ago decided to adopt the philosophy that as long as they're loud, that's what matters. That's their philosophy. And I think it's a flawed one because you maximize your story, you maximize the ticket sales, you maximize ratings when people emotionally invest and have clear-cut heels and baby faces, good guys and bad guys. It is that simple. Even if they want to complicate it, they can't. Human psychology has not changed. We still want good and evil. Now, there are shades of gray. No person is truly good. No person generally is truly evil. There are shades. We all have elements of both, and I know that would be their reasoning. But I don't want a wishy-washy person where now they're heel, but they're so cool. Well, then they're not really heel, and you're not maximizing their potential. People are afraid to go true heel to get true heel heat. True heel heat, to me, hasn't existed since the days of Triple H reigning as champion in the early 2000s. You could argue maybe Randy Orton versus Edge a few years ago was close. Randy Orton was an amazing heel back then. But that's the thing. While human psychology hasn't changed, WWE has softened their justification for their failure in storylines and building characters by saying, well, as long as they're loud. That's a bunch of nonsense. It's a cop-out, and it's lazy. So that's my thought. I could go much deeper, but I won't. Thanks so much, Alex. Let's get to our next voicemail.
Hey, Matt, and everybody here out there. This is Robert from the WWE Ringside Podcast. I just had something to say real quick. I'm seeing reports that they're wanting to do a draft post-WrestleMania to start the new wrestling season. And no, they don't typically follow the draft rules, but my thought was Triple H took over Vince's roster, so he wanted them. So he kind of just is playing it out through WrestleMania. They get the draft, they get their belt split, and then Triple H will then get the roster constructed the way he wants them for his creative. So with that going forward, I think we're going to get Cody Rhodes, who wins the Royal Rumble. And after that, I think we're going to get Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. And I think we're also going to get Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. I'm seeing also that they want Roman to do 2 matches at WrestleMania. So I think we'll get Rock, Roman on Saturday. And I think we'll get the main event because Cody wins the Rumble. He gets the main event. We'll get Cody versus Roman on Sunday. And we'll get Roman beating The Rock on Saturday, the Bloodline riding a high horse going into Sunday, and then Sunday it all collapses. We get the Usos who drop their titles on Sunday. We get Roman who drops his titles on Sunday. And then we get Cody who does not want the Universal title. He relinquishes it via the draft. They have a whole tournament on SmackDown for the new Universal Champion, and Rhodes keeps the WWE Championship. So that's kind of the reports I'm seeing and piecing it all together. That's kind of what I got. What are your thoughts on that? And also, what are your thoughts on the pitch black match being thrown out there at Rumble, possibly with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt? What do you think the blackout stipulation is going to entitle? Is it a blindfold match? Is it a full-on lights out? Or what are your thoughts on that? I think that might be everything. I want one more thing. Hell in a Cell at the Rumble. I think it should be Owens versus Reigns. I think that would be a really good Hell in a Cell worthy match. So that's what I got for this week. Have a good one. Bye.
Hey, Robert. Thanks for chiming in. Boy, you bring up good stuff every week. Stuff that, again, I could go on and on, but I will be brief as I was in my previous answer here. So, draft post WrestleMania. I have actually not heard about that. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You guys keep up with the news better than I do. I wouldn't hate that. I don't care when they do the draft. I'm a proponent of the draft, but I'm an even bigger proponent of sticking to the rules. So in this post Triple H, or rather post Vince, now Triple H era, maybe he will adhere to the rules better, but the temptation's always there and they won't be able to resist, even in the Triple H era. Assuming Vince doesn't come back, rumors of that, I really hope he doesn't. That would be insane. So the Hell in a Cell with Reigns and KO. I don't mind that, but is it deserving of a cell? I wouldn't say fully. Now, they had their program a few years ago, and they brought that up a couple of times with Paul Heyman screwing KO. But, I mean, I think it's borderline deserving of the cell, but I actually would keep the cell away from WWE for like another year. I wouldn't even mention Hell in a Cell, so when someone does, it's a big deal. That's what I want. Again, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't rant about it. If it was me, I wouldn't add that stipulation to this match. Now, the pitch black match with LA Knight, if that happens, let me just say, if it's a match that's just totally dark, I mean, that would be awful. The fans would boo the hell out of that, and it would not be good for business. Now, if it's them in a blindfold, that's also, I don't mean this as an insult to you. I just mean this as a concept. I think that's stupid. And the reason is, if they say they're actually truly blindfolded, well, then you're risking injury on a massive scale. Like talk about a basically guarantee that someone's going to get injured. But if it's a blindfold that's actually translucent where the competitors can see through it, well, then the fans are going to know based on the reactions and movements in the ring that they can actually see each other. That would be like clownish. So I think that's a lose-lose. I don't like the idea unless there's some other way to present a quote-unquote pitch black match. I don't know what that would be. There's some other concept I'm missing here, but I'm going to wait until I see the stipulation to rant about it. Now, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, and then The Rock. You really thought about this, didn't you? I'm not going to go into the post-WrestleMania stuff because we don't even know what's going to be at WrestleMania yet. But to me, Rock Roman is a bigger match than the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match. And I know that Cody won the Rumble, or is going to win the Rumble, or is believed to. But that means that he could have one of the main events. Now, according to WWE and their own language, there are two main events. There's not just one. Now, I don't believe there are two. I believe there is just one. But according to WWE, the rules that they made, both nights have a main event, equally important. So I think Cody would take night one. The Rock takes night two. That's just me. So as far as who's going to win, I'd say The Rock does lose. He should lose. And Cody could win, and I think he's more likely to win. I would agree with that. All right. Thanks, Robert. Great stuff as always. Let's get to the next one.
What's going on, WWE Podcast? It's WWE Scene, a.k.a. Christina from Illinois. I first wanted to start by saying I will be celebrating my 40th birthday this Friday at SmackDown in Chicago. My friends are making me a happy 40th Scene sign, so viewers, you want to watch out for that. Okay, moving on to more wrestling thoughts here. So, I'm just wondering what you think the odds of Ricochet winning this Intercontinental title are on Friday. I will be honest, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I am really getting sick of Gunther just destroying everyone. And the last thing I want to see is this Intercontinental belt on Braun Strowman, who is likely going to be going into a program with Gunther after this stuff. So another question I have is, I think the women's tag division needs a huge overhaul. And I'm wondering if you think Liv and Tegan can bring back the lifeblood that this division needs. I'm honestly really sick of Damage Control, and I just want to see some new faces prevailing in this division. Okay, well, that's it. Don't forget to watch for my happy 40th birthday Steen sign while you're watching on Friday. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Hey, Christina, happy birthday. I'm only a couple of years away from you. I'll be 38 in February, so it's amazing. I mean, it's crazy, right? You and I grew up in the 90s, and the 90s always feel like they were just like 10 years ago, don't they? They just are frozen in time. But happy 40th, no better way to celebrate than going to a wrestling show if you're a fan. And I hope it's a great one. I will keep an eye out for the sign. And if anyone else sees it, take a screenshot and I'll put it on Twitter or something. I think that'd be pretty cool to see the sign for your happy birthday. So have fun in Chicago. As far as Liv and Tegan, well, let me get to that second. Ricochet winning against Gunther. I think it's unlikely. I think Gunther's the favorite. I think Gunther should go to WrestleMania as champion. I actually think there's a lot of potential with Gunther as champion. I know you don't like him just dominating, but he actually showed fear, which I don't like because his character is not based on fear at all. Fear against Braun Strowman, which, as you said, there's a match there. So why would he drop it to Ricochet only to face Braun Strowman with no belt on the line? So that would tell me that I think there's like an 80%, 85% chance that Gunther walks away with the belt on SmackDown. Very good chance. And I think that it's going to be a very good showing for Ricochet, who could come very close to winning, ultimately dropping clean to Gunther. I don't want Gunther to use any hook or crook or cheating to win. He should dominate at the end. I mean, he should win clean. Not be a squash match, but he should win clean. And eventually get to Braun Strowman, no doubt. Now, the whole your point about Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox giving life and bringing some kind of lifeblood back to the women's tag team division. Well, here's the thing: there needs to be a women's tag team division. There needs to be one that exists first. There isn't one. There hasn't been one. They create like illusions that there is one every few months or every 6 months or around WrestleMania. They create an illusion that there's a division by throwing random people together in like a fatal 4-way tag team match for the women's tag team belts like they did last year. And then a week later, 3 out of 4 of them aren't a team anymore because they're not a team. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's not just a need for more teams. They need to have a division. They have a belt without a division. It's embarrassing. And it's really surprising under Triple H that they've done that. So that's how I feel. But have fun at SmackDown. Enjoy your 40th. And I'm interested to hear, maybe you call back next week and give me some in-person perspective about the SmackDown show. All righty. Let's get to our next one.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rocky T from Houston, Texas. You guys are listening to the current state Raw review, and just want to make one little comment about Uncle Howdy. Everybody's mentioning Bo Dallas, Eric Rowan, split personality of Bray. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Alexis turn on The Fiend and his last WrestleMania match with Orton, which we would consider her to be Dark Alexis? So I have a swerve. What if, just what if, since we are seeing Alexa having these little split times where she's, quote unquote possessed. What if it's Alexis that's Uncle Howdy? What if she's the one behind the mask? What if Dark Alexis, quote, Dark Alexis, has been, her alter ego all along, and what if Dark Alexis is the one who, brought back Ray, who was Uncle Howdy, and I don't know why it jumped into my head just to swerve the thought of it. I think it would be a swerve if a girl turned out to be Uncle Howdy. That could be her alter ego. That would give her another persona. I do not want to see Playground Alexis anymore. I love her dress up, her gimmick, her ringer, being Dark Alexis, but do not want to see her do the Playground stuff again. But I don't know. I just thought. So tell me what you're thinking about that, and that's it. Look forward to hearing everything else from everybody else. And that's it, everybody. Stay Uzi and don't have a good day. Have a great day.
Hey, Rocky T. So, yeah, good. I like that. No one has brought that to my attention yet. Nobody has said to me, hey, and I haven't thought of it either, that it could be Alexa. We're all thinking that she's just going to be somehow attached separately to the Fiend, and that there's no way she's Uncle Howdy. That's definitely possible. The only problem with that is this. Now, the attacks on LA Knight, and this is a serious question. It's not an empty question. Isn't it Uncle Howdy who's attacking LA Knight in the mask? Or is that a separate mask? It might be a separate mask, right? If it is, or if they're one and the same, if the masked attacker and Uncle Howdy are the same, then the problem is Alexa Bliss is 5 feet tall, like 5 foot nothing. So it would be very obvious that it's a woman if she was the one behind it. But we haven't seen, I'm just trying to think of the masks in general. Perhaps if they're separate, then yeah, there's a better chance. If Uncle Howdy and the masked attacker are separate, then yeah, there's a good chance it is Alexa. But I don't know how they tie that in. Maybe it is. Maybe they tied somehow to WrestleMania 36 or whatever it was when Alexa turned on Bray in a very unexplained way in one of the worst conclusions to a program at WrestleMania ever. Maybe they do. Maybe they're actually not afraid to go back to it and explain it and make good on it. That'd be fine with me. So yeah, that's a great point. I like that. You guys bring up some great stuff. So thanks, Rocky. And let's get to our final voicemail. If you guys know the show, you know who's coming right now. Here we go.
Hey man, it's Justin from sorry. Hey man, it's Justin from Maryland. Just calling in to get my thoughts on a couple of things. Mind me, I'm a little tipsy right now. I just got off work. I got 2 drinks in me right now, so don't mind me. But I do got a couple of things I want to talk about. So first, Alexa Bliss. I'm glad that she's getting the push. I've been interested in the whole Bray Wyatt, the symbol, on the screen when she's on camera. So I'm just interested to see, exactly how they're going to play this out, if she's going to join Bray Wyatt. I don't think she's going to capture the women's title. I know we all saw how she teased the sister Abigail, but she didn't do it. So definitely they're planning something big for her, but I'm not sure what it is yet. But I don't think she'll capture the title, of course, but they're definitely planning a big push for her. So I just wanted your thoughts on that. How do you feel about Alexa Bliss and this whole Bray Wyatt situation? Next, I'm not sure if you saw the rumored planned matches for WrestleMania, but one of them is Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. That would be an interesting match for sure, but if Gunther is going to face Brock at WrestleMania, he probably won't have the IC title. So I'm not sure, they're just rumors, but if they do have that match, then who do you see maybe taking the title off of him, if you have had any thought into it? Definitely him and Brock will have a great match. I'm not sure the whole story behind it, or maybe they just want to fight each other, but yeah, who do you feel like could possibly be the next IC champion? Next, let's see. Seth and Bobby, they had a good match. I think we all knew that Seth was going to go over. I didn't see the finish, but I didn't really like or what happened with the whole him getting fired situation. Because, I mean, people attack the refs all the time and they don't get fired. So that was interesting. Looking to see how this will play out because supposedly he's going to have another match against Brock. So I don't know how they're going to play this out or the reason for it. Maybe it was just a way to write him off.
All right, Justin. It's so much fun to hear you at the end of every show, and it just happens because you seem to be the last one to send in a voicemail, and but I actually at this point would make an effort to make sure you're the last one, and not because I don't think you're important or that I'm going to push the bad voicemails to the back or something. No, I just think you finished the show off in such a great way. All right. So a few things. Alexa Bliss, I mean, I've fleshed this out pretty well throughout the show if you've gotten to this point. I guess the last thing I'll say to that is that, yeah, no way she's winning the belt from Bianca. Now, I wish Alexa would have some time with the Raw Women's Championship. She's been without a belt for some time, the Raw Women's Championship anyway. And so at some point she should get the belt, maybe sometime in 2023. But the bigger story here is, yes, the connection with Bray. Is she Uncle Howdy? Are they going to follow up on the WrestleMania 36 disaster? What happens with the connection? Does she go back to being on the playground? Is it a hybrid version? Like, what is it? That's the story that they're telling, not the Raw Women's Championship with Alexa. Gunther versus Brock at WrestleMania. I've heard rumors of that floating around. Yeah, it wouldn't be for the IC championship for sure. I like that, but I think there's some work to do on Gunther's end because in order to get him ready for Brock, outside of looking the part, he needs to play the part. Meaning he needs to stop running from Braun Strowman. That's not who Gunther is. That's damaging to his character at its core. You need to make him as strong as possible, just an alpha male, doesn't run from anyone, but he's a nasty SOB. You don't always have to have every heel cheat. And in this case, that's not who Gunther is. That's what makes him special. There's a lot of heels that cheat to win, and it's a tried and true formula. But Gunther's a breed of a different kind. So you need to have him run from no one and continue to have him steamroll. But he'll have to drop the belt, probably to Braun Strowman. That's my guess. He'll take the belt off of Gunther and do it in a way that maybe Brock interferes or something, or it's a kind of a strange situation the way he loses, because if he loses to Braun but then goes on to Brock, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you're going to want him to continue to have momentum. And how can you have momentum if you lose your belt and then face a guy that you should be at your strongest? You know what I mean? So, and you're 2 drinks in. That was hilarious. I love that. So the last thing, Bobby getting fired. First of all, that's been redacted by Adam Pearce. He took it back. He said he's not fired. So, there is going to be some kind of discipline in the story, of course, not in real life, for Bobby. It's an interesting story they're telling right now. Bobby Lashley is just feuding with management. So, he'll have a third match with Brock at some point, and he should have a rubber match, probably at either the Rumble or the Chamber. Definitely not at WrestleMania, but yeah, definitely they have an interesting storyline with Bobby. I like it. It's interesting. It's something we've never seen from Bobby, where he's inadvertently, but maybe not inadvertently, hitting referees, and there's a question mark, and Adam Pearce is losing his mind, and it's a fun thing right now for Bobby. I like it. It's different. And we also don't know is he heel or face. I don't know. But all right, that concludes it for the voicemail portion. Again, guys, I know it's 2 parts. You guys hate 2 parts, but it had to be done. And the audio quality will improve come Sunday. My mic is actually out of commission anyway. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll be back on Sunday with your weekend review. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.